is up, coaches, cheerleaders, and warp spawn? We're here. We just got into San Francisco a couple minutes ago. Went straight to my hotel. I drove here straight from work, so I'm a little wiped right now. It's like 8:30 or something like that. But I'm gonna grab a little bit of dinner and then try to do a practice game. I'm excited for Kublacon tomorrow, the Blood Bowl tournament. It's kind of a weird rules packet, but I'm sure we'll go over that in the video. But yeah, I'm gonna grab some dinner and get a practice game and then probably crash pretty hard.
I had dinner from an IHOP in the hotel parking lot. I got a buffalo chicken sandwich with some pancakes instead of fries. I think anything would have tasted good with how wiped out I was at that point, but it was all a little better than I expected it to be, as I'm more of a Denny's man myself. I got halfway through a practice game against the Citiesburg Proxingtons posing as Skaven, before I ended up passing out for the night.
What is up, coaches, cheerleaders, and warp spawn? We're pulling up to the venue for Kublacon. Managed to find parking on my first try, which something I've seen about the San Francisco area is that all the parking spots are super tiny. It's all super cramped. It's definitely a very populated small area. It's usually a pretty good sign when you see people with army cases walking around, to let you know one of these events is close. But yeah, let's get to it.
Kublacon is a convention that focuses on tabletop gaming with special attention to board games. In 2023, it was held in the Hyatt Regency in Burlingame, California, just next to San Francisco, and it's been running for over 20 years at this point. Inside, the convention was already packed with people, even though I showed up early on the first day. I met some chill folks while waiting in the pre-reg line to get my badge, including Randy from Heavy Play, which is a new card game accessory company. I've included a quick interview with them at the end of the video, and their link is in the description, so please take a minute to watch if you're into CCGs at all. The sample product was awesome looking. For Conswag, I got my badge, a dice tray, a little packet for playing a convention game that allowed attendees to challenge each other as a Time Lord or a Dalek, and a bag of jelly babies, which I'd never had before and I approve of. There was a Doctor Who theme happening this year, so there was lots of cosplay in that vein, which I didn't bother to get any footage of. For lunch, I had some of the con-themed curry over white rice. It was definitely better than the $12 cheese sauce nachos I'm used to seeing at conventions. There were tables set up everywhere on the multiple layers of landings and platforms. The minis games and the card games had their own areas in the bottom, and there was a painting room that hosted paint classes as well as speed paint challenges. I did one of them and it was really fun, but learning to use a bunch of unfamiliar paints with a stock brush in 45 minutes is a skill all its own. This is the winning mini, and this one was mine. I also got to catch up with Dev and meet some other artists, which was really fun. After that, the exhibition hall opened and I checked it out. It was a pretty good spread of gaming accessories, lots of board games, and a little bit of everything else. The Game Castle, which hosts West Coast Quake, had a booth as well. Having made some gift purchases, I headed to the area where the Blood Bowl event was to take place. The description for the event listing was custom pitches, custom kickoffs, no respect, all fun. This is the 14th iteration of this tournament. I feel like this was a very apt description. Team build totals were 1200k. There were no tiers, and one star player was allowed to be rostered with no penalties for any particular stars. The skill package was 2 pieces with 3 primaries or random secondaries, 2 pieces with 2 primaries or random secondaries, and 2 pieces with 1 primary or random secondaries. Each round there was a chosen MVP and 2 other random MVPs, with some allowing a chosen secondary or random characteristic increase. Each pitch was themed and had crazy special rules and a unique kickoff table. This was not an event for someone intimidated by bonus rules and a couple extra dice rolls. I was waffling heavily on what to bring going in. I knew I wanted something with a megastar since I never get to use those models, and I was torn between Hackflem or Bomber. Ended up going with Orcs because it's what I'm most experienced with, and I got to include basically every positional with this packet. Each round, a player was paired up with another on a unique pitch with its own set of rules. These rules range from some we've seen in Games Workshop supplements to moonshine levels of homebrew. I will fully admit to being skeptical going in. I will also just say now, Bomber is more broken than any of these rules, and still somehow manages to be official. He did so much work that I'm not going to bother mentioning him in the individual round matchups. I'll also post pictures of the unique rules so you can pause on them if you like, but it's way too much to go through individually. Round 1, I was paired against Damien, playing Necro on the Heshute pitch. He took a little bit of everything on the roster, which I love to see. There were 4 vanilla zombies, a werewolf with dodge block sure hands, a werewolf with dodge jump up block. That one got really annoying. Flesh golem with block, flesh golem with block, as you should. A couple rays, goal runners. One was sure feet and catch, one was sure feet and pass. On the picture, you'll see a couple of the skill ups that he took throughout the other matches. And it looks like a lot of those might have been randoms, which I'm mad respect for. This pitch had a few key special rules, notably that teams were given a conscript as a gift from the Chaos Dwarves for playing there. My opponent got a free Witch Elf, and I got a Chaos Dwarf blocker who was represented by one of the Citiesburg Proxingtons, as they're quite adept at that sort of thing. These lasted for the entire event, so the extra bench was quite welcome, as my backup was either a goblin or a thrower depending on the setup. Next was the portcullis. Each end zone was covered by a few heavy gates that the hobgoblins had to lift to allow passage through. I nearly missed being able to score because of these, but just barely made it, which added some tension. Throughout the game, I got some solid removals and was able to abuse guard to its fullest, making a lot of 2-die blocks. The game ended 1-0 with Necro making a bunch of regenerations, but falling just short of tying it up right at the end. My next game was against Constantine, piloting Dark Elves on the Thunderbolt pitch. He had a couple of Dark Elf blitzers that he had skilled up with jump up, dodge, and sidestep. He had 2 of the vanilla Dark Elf blitzers, 1 Dark Elf lineman with block, a few more vanilla linemen, a Dark Elf runner with pass, and 2 Witch Elves with block and sidestep added on. A really solid roster. There was no ref on this pitch, only a riled up crowd to exact the punishment they felt necessary. Both teams were given a list of super fouling maneuvers called flagrant fouls that could be used in addition to a regular foul. These are on the screen now, and they were no less than awesome in my opinion. At one point, there was a chainsaw thrown onto the pitch that behaved like a ball, and I really liked that touch. This was likely a bad matchup for the Dark Elves in this context, though. My opponent made some great plays, and I managed to bash him down after kicking and forcing the score early, ending 2-1 in my favor, like the sacred texts say to do. It's also worth noting that at one point he was down to, I believe it was 4 elves left on the pitch, and he still kept playing on and didn't get salty at all, and I always appreciate that. We had a ton of fun. My third game was against Zinchling, or Chris, with Tomb Kings on the Zinch pitch appropriately. I had strongly considered going with Tomb Kings after I had success at my last event with them, but getting to play with the orcs at full power was just a little bit too tempting. His roster had Wilhelm Chaney, which I absolutely would have gone also. By this point, our players could skill up if they were random MVPs, or I guess chosen MVPs as well. So Wilhelm was a blodger. We had a Tomb Guardian with Mighty Blow and Guard, another with Mighty Blow Guard Stand Firm, another with Mighty Blow Guard, and another with Mighty Blow Guard Stand Firm. Also looks like it got block eventually. There were 2 blitzers that were given block and both eventually got tackle. There were 2 throwers, also with block. One had leader, one had on the ball. There was a vanilla skeleton. There was a skeleton with sneaky git and dirty player. And another skeleton with block. All really safe choices as far as the skills go. Looks like just 2 rerolls, so being a little brave there. This pitch had a D88 table to roll on, with each result being unique. It felt a bit like Smash Bros. With all the items on, or Mario Kart if every item was a blue shell. We put up a solid back and forth, but I started stacking some removals on the Tomb Guardians early. I'm grateful that I had just played Tomb King, so I understood the matchup really well. Some of the crazier events included his Tomb Guardians getting the ball twice, once from a throw in, and once from being teleported off my blitzer that was going to score next turn. At one point, I had to make a more punishing negatrait roll to activate any players for the turn, so I just passed, which turned out to be the optimal play. Result 87 on the table was to roll on the table twice, and immediately another 87 was rolled, causing 3 total results for that round. He offered to call it at the half due to time and being down some pieces, and it was going to make it hard to defend. I believe it was around 11:30 at this point. It was a great game overall, and he was really quick on the rules, which was nice. We were all given a ball token, and I also got a copy of the box set, which I'm always glad to have more of. It was an awesome experience overall, and I'll gladly attend one of these more crazy tournaments again. This was my final undefeated roster for the event, and it was the most stacked and unfair thing I've ever played in the best way possible. I initially had 4 vanilla blitzers, but I added guard to one and dodge to another. I had a big unblocker with block, guard, and mighty blow, another big unblocker with block, guard, and tackle, another one with just block and guard, and a fourth one with just wrestle. My thrower, initially I added block and leader, but eventually added dodge. My goblin had sneaky get initially, and I added dirty player. My troll, I just added guard. It's proven itself. And I had bomber dribble snot, who I was eventually able to give block. I also had the Chaos Dwarf blocker I had gotten from round 1 with Loner, and he did a good job standing on the front line getting punched around a little bit.
Well, folks, we are leaving Kublacon. I went undefeated tonight. It was awesome, but I've got to say this experience, I was ready for kind of a crazy event, but this caught me off guard in such a good way. Like, it makes me appreciate parts of the game that's, I don't know, I don't really think about that often, especially as I get more caught up in some of the competitive analysis and whatever. But, I don't know, Blood Bowl's an awesome game. The crowd was amazing. The event was run super well. I know I've probably gone over some of the rules or whatever already, but, like, I don't think words can state the randomness, just kind of almost self-balanced. But I definitely want to come back next year. The convention was cool. It's kind of a board gamer's dream. Just tons of stuff. But anyway, I've got to drive back to Reno, and it's going to be 4 hours, and it's almost midnight, so whatever. But it was entirely worth it, and I'd do this again in a heartbeat.
I want to give a shout out to Corey and Trent for running an awesome event. Y'all are great hosts. Even just chit chatting at the end was super fun. And I hope y'all get the chance to tilt a bunch more normies as time goes on. Really quickly, I just wanted to add the interview I had with Randy from Heavy Play. Like I said, his company deals with card game accessories. It was really cool stuff. Apparently, it was kickstarted and got completely funded. I'll have links for everything in the bottom. I'm not being paid for this ad, but I just think it's cool to support. And honestly, I can get behind, like, having done plenty of card game tournaments. This stuff would be super convenient. But here that is.
Hey, I am waiting in the pre-reg line right now, and I just met somebody really cool. You want to tell us about yourself and your company?
Hi, I'm Randy Jang. I'm the founder of Heavy Play. We're a new gaming accessories company.
And I understand you're specializing in card games, right?
Yeah, we're starting with card games. Long-time Magic player. So my background's industrial design.
Okay.
This is our ETV playmat.
Okay.
Pet peeve with playmats is having to roll them up. So
Right.
now there's rigid panels in there, so you can just fold it up fast, and it fits in a laptop sleeve. And then because there's magnets for closure, it's an opportunity to then attach our deck boxes and dice boxes.
That's so
rather
cool.
than juggling a bunch of loose items, you're in a tournament setting, you're trying to find your next match, now you can just attach everything and go. So the dice box connects to the deck box. You can hot swap these. So instead of carrying around multiple decks with each with their own dice, you can share your dice across decks. Our deck box has a unique closure on the bottom, so it's more secure.
Okay.
Like a molded chassis. We also have our own card sleeves. So these have rounded corners on the bottom. These are the curved sleeves.
Yeah.
So they're more ergonomic.
Yeah, and that's better for not catching on the edges.
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, so we're launching soon, so check us out.
Yeah.
HeavyPlay.com.
And I'll put your link in the description there.
Awesome. Thank you.
In short, Kublacon was awesome. Blood Bowl's still Blood Bowl, no matter what other rules you add to it. I think taking away rules is probably a greater offense than adding to in a lot of cases. I think there's a place for events like this, and for ones with more restricted rule sets. But yeah, get to an event if you haven't gone to one. It doesn't matter what kind, just if the people are chill, which every event I've been to has had chill folks, then you'll have a good time. And keep on watching. Turnover!